Hey there, boys and girls. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollow Weekly. Nick and George here with How Can We Go? And it sucks.
It does. 2009's vampire horror comedy Suck.
What's the
Which you called Fangs a whole bunch of times.
Did I keep calling it Fangs?
When you... When you have generic one-word titles like that, like that's just what happens.
Dude,
like,
Nick Biden.
No, it's not just you; it's anyone. Like
Nick Biden over here.
Nick Biden.
I love that movie, Fangs. Sir, it's called Sucks.
Hilarious.
But before we get into Sucks,
Now you're pluralizing it. Sucks.
before we get into Fangs,
No.
George had a really good post here on the Hollow Weekly Facebook page, and if you're not following us, follow us. We have a good time. If you like the page, get in the group. Page got like almost 66,000.
Yeah,
70.
Yeah, it's in
The
this.
group's got like 22K.
It'll be 70,000 by the time they get there.
There's 22,000 people in the private group, and there are a lot of opinions.
There are.
That group, I had to patrol that shit earlier. Okay. The post was this. Let's play a game. Hit us with your worst movie pitches. And so some of the examples that you gave in the post was, it's The Invisible Man meets It Follows. It's Babe, Pig in the City meets Saw. That's my favorite. It's Cujo meets Pet Cemetery. And it's Maximum Overdrive meets A Quiet Place. There was one that didn't make it on the list. Can I spoil it for them? Because I really like that one.
Yes.
One of my ideas was it's Toy Story meets Final Destination. That's classic.
Which is classic.
But I wanted to go through some of the comments here. I literally just loaded up the first couple and I was like, oh, well, these are great. We got to read them on the next episode.
Yep.
I'm just going to give out a few of these. So Jake, top fan, he's been with us for a while, said it's Puppet Master versus Small Soldiers. That's actually a really cool one.
Actually, I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Like, that's actually
So I want you to read them, and then I want us to say what we would spend to watch it. All right. So that one.
Gotcha. Okay.
That one, I would buy that.
Okay.
I'd buy that
movie
SD.
theater, rent, or bargain bin.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I would buy that. I would buy it streaming for like $5.99.
I would
For sure.
I would buy it in streaming, and
I would definitely rent it.
I would definitely get on the bargain bin. Three from Hell meets The Langoliers. That was Martin.
That's pretty good.
Let's see here. It's Barney. No, I'm not reading that one. Barney didn't have sex with no one. That's not how you pitch a movie. Oh man, I haven't even heard of. So this, okay.
Well, there's lots of ways to pitch movies. I took the pitch model from The Player, which we did on our Criterion podcast. Because remember in The Player they kept doing, it's like blah 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 meets blah blah.
Well, how's this one? It's like High School Musical 2 meets Fatal Attraction.
Oh no.
Oof. Let's see here. Oh, this is a great one here. This is from Dustin. It's Beethoven, the movie, meets An American Werewolf in London.
That I see that one I would buy. I would go to the theater.
I would go to the theater for that one. Like
that.
Blumhouse presents.
Yes.
Beethoven fucks people up.
I would definitely go see that.
I would do that one here. Oh no, a lot of Three from Hell. It's like it's Three from Hell meets Three Men and a Baby. Oh no.
That's 6 problems.
Oh my god, that movie would be sponsored by like Marlboro and Coors Light.
Definitely.
This is a weird one. It's Captain Marvel meets the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I don't know what that means.
Captain Marvel?
I didn't see it.
Rocky Horror.
I mean, I know what Rocky Horror is, but I don't know how you combine it with Captain Marvel.
A lot of dancing, a lot of makeup, a lot of blush.
Oh, Captain Marvel's a musical.
It will be now. Brie Larson's gonna be twirling around in space.
It's gonna be amazing.
You know, singing "Don't Dream It, Be It." No.
Oh, no.
I'm not reading. I can't read that. Let's see here. Oh, this is a great one. This is from Dustin. To All the Boys I've Loved Before, the Netflix rom-com.
Sure.
Meets All the Boys Love Mandy Lane.
Oh.
That's a great.
That
is a great one.
Good use of title.
Let me just get a few more of these because these are pretty good here. It comes at night meets The Sound of Music.
Wow.
Someone said Disney Frozen meets Adam Green's Frozen.
That I would do.
Oh shit. Okay. I got the last two. I got definitely the last one. Sorry, this is the second last one. Robin said it's The Muppets meets Human Centipede. They're all sewn together.
That I would avoid. I would pay to avoid seeing that.
And this is the winner though, and this is the one I would pay twice to see in the theater. I would stream it from my friends, and I would buy all the copies in the bargain bin. Mrs. Doubtfire meets Cloverfield.
Oh, for sure. You would Kickstarter that, have your name in the credits.
Yeah, I would pay. I would do whatever I can to be part of that group. Just her, just Robin Williams dressed as Mrs. Doubtfire. Who knew? Like buildings are collapsing and like people are screaming.
Would be amazing.
Military jeeps and tanks are flying by her.
Would be amazing. Good job, group. You guys did incredible work.
Oh, those were some good answers.
It's Call of Cthulhu meets God's Not Dead.
Oh, that's a good one.
That would be pretty whatever. Dustin put Midsummer meets La La Land.
Whoa. That'd be a
Wrap your brain around.
catchy music and trippy visuals, man. I'm down.
Right. That's Rear Window meets Disturbia. That already happened. That combination.
That's how they made the movie. Like imagine Shia LaBeouf and Rear Window.
Willy Wonka meets Candyman. I like that they put Willy Wonka and Candyman.
I see what they did there. Very clever.
That's pretty good.
I like that.
Good job, group. We love it. All right. So for How Low Can We Go, we have decided to break our bounds from Rotten Tomatoes and not solely rely on Rotten Tomatoes, because there are other aggregators, like in this instance Metacritic. So we're trying to go 1 percentage point down. I think we're at 54 now.
Yeah, this should be like 54.
So this was 54 in the Metacritic meter. This is 2009's horror comedy Suck, which
not Fangs.
Not Fangs, which was really good. People, can we talk about that? This movie was really fun.
It was a blast,
right?
It reminded me a lot of I forget what year it was, but it was the movie with Zach Galifianakis called Out Cold. Like it had that level of budget and fun.
The budget for this was like,
dude, it's a B movie in the best form.
It is definitely a B movie in the best form.
And how did you find it again? You said
I just went to Metacritic and searched movies that were 54 because I didn't find anything that interested me on Rotten Tomatoes, and this was there, and I was like. So let's back up for a second. I don't like horror comedies generally. I mean, I'm a big fan. I love Tucker and Dale, and I like Shaun of the Dead and all that stuff, but they don't hit me the way they hit a lot of people, right? I'm not, because comedy is not usually my thing. I'm more intense movie kind of person. So it wasn't my natural inclination to pick this, but I kept reading about. So first of all, this thing is stocked with like rock and roll people. So
Alice Cooper, Iggy Pop,
right? Exactly. So Henry Rollins. So that caught my attention because I'm a big Henry Rollins fan, right? Mm-hmm. So and then Dave Foley's in it. The Kids in the Hall.
Oh yeah. And Moby,
right? And Moby's in it. He was disgusting. So playing a guy named Beef or whatever.
Yeah, Beef.
And then, but the thing that sold me, that always sells me, is Malcolm McDowell. When I saw that Malcolm McDowell was playing the Van Helsing character, I was like,
Eddie Van Helsing.
Eddie Van Helsing.
Yeah. This is a rock and roll movie, man.
I was sold as soon as Eddie Van Helsing. What I didn't expect was Jessica Perry, who plays the lead female role, the bass player, vampire killer. What was incredible. The only one I bumped on was the lead actor, the guy, the head of the band.
I mean, he was the straight guy. He was, he had to go down the straight and narrow.
I hated him so much that it was hard to watch.
Like, he had to be that role though. You know what I mean? Like kind of like annoying. He was like, it's all about the band and the music, man. Like that kind of bullshit. You're like, oh my god, blow it out your ass.
Totally. What were the things you liked about this?
Hugo.
We didn't even mention Hugo.
Like that's my favorite part of the whole
Hugo
movie.
Was amazing. Hugo was the Renfield character.
Yeah. He's just always getting the shitty end of the stick, talking about himself in the third person, doing the worst things, hacking up bodies for the bass player, being promised immortality, being like, I don't think he ever gets it.
Nope.
No. He ever gets it. No. He's just this poor motherfucker. Just gets the short of the stick every chance he can get in this movie.
Yep.
He's the best comic relief I've seen in a horror comedy in a while.
He was great. He was absolutely
in a long
great.
while.
He was unfazed sometimes, and then sometimes he was freaking out, and it was just perfect.
He started to get what do they call that stare that people get like when they're shell shocked?
Oh,
the 40-yard stare.
Yeah,
right. He started having that by the end of the movie. Just
he totally did.
off.
Actually, he totally did, which was amazing. The idea behind this movie is that this band, the winners, are a bunch of losers, and they are kind of at the end of their string. Clearly the band's falling apart. They're not getting any attention.
They're starting to be like,
their music was pretty good.
It was catchy.
I want to say,
yeah.
for what it was, for the time frame that it was coming out of. But they were getting no success, and then their bass player gets turned into a vampire
by a wicked looking vampire.
By like the Lestat on steroids. Like this rock star vampire.
He's got crazy eyes. He's actually pretty unsettling.
He's huge too, right? Like he's just like enormous. He doesn't need to be a vampire to like.
He's just kind of freaky looking.
Right. Yeah. Bring mayhem. There was some really weird artsy stuff that would break out of nowhere, where all of a sudden you were in a Lynch movie or a Lars von Trier film.
Dude, this movie looked like they had so much fun editing. Like, like they're just like, whatever tools we got, throw them in. Like this movie probably don't got a big budget, so we're just gonna fuck off in every way possible.
I was really gratified to hear some Robert Johnson music going on. So like they were doing.
Oh yeah, when he was at the Crossroads.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. The Crossroads scenes were fucking terrible. Iggy Pop.
There's a lot of.
Iggy Pop is a terrible actor, but
hey man, you know what? You know, hand me that bag and we'll get recording another song.
His best moment was when the band went into the studio to cut a song and he was not impressed with his band. And then he had to play once they started playing. And for some reason, that moment where they were supposed to crush it and record their first single, they played the worst song they played the whole movie. So I don't know who wrote that one. Probably Iggy Pop. But they cut over to Iggy Pop and he's supposed to be like impressed and won over by them. But Iggy Pop's nature is clearly not to be impressed or won over by anything, because when it cut over to him, he looked like I would look if you offered me like a day old Subway sandwich. Mm-hmm. And he was supposed to be like having a revelation, like he was hearing the recording of Let It Be or whatever, but he just looked mildly interested.
Right.
So, but it was his best moment because it was, at least he was in his element. It was the musical thing going on. You could tell he was super comfortable. So that part was fine. Henry Rollins plays
he's so condescending in that scene. It's so good. I can rewatch that scene right now and lose my shit.
He plays every person he's ever hated who's ever asked him a dumb question to interview, like composited, right? Like he put them all together and played the most annoying possible version.
He's just like, every chance he talks, he's just going to hurt your feelings. And there's nothing you can do about it.
He was like a shock jock. Like it was terrible. And then he gets wasted. So that was pretty amazing.
He was good.
It had a little Idle Hands feel in parts. So I thought that was good because.
Yeah, I think that all kind of goes to like that low budgety kind of like feel. Well, it's just, I honestly, that feeling probably just comes from the fact that the movie's fun.
Yep.
Like doesn't take itself seriously at all. Like the vampire has a musical part in it where he's singing.
Totally.
Like, you know,
which was actually pretty scary. Can I say? I mean, this movie is not scary. Let's get real.
Right.
But for what it is,
he was intimidating. Like
it was intimidating, and the hallucination, like her transforming into a vampire scene,
like
was
spinning on the floor,
pretty intense. Right?
Yeah.
So if you put it on a scale of, let's be honest, the scene where they transform the first young girl we meet in Dr. Sleep. Remember, she's in the theater and she's
right.
I forget what she does. She's like marking people somehow.
She was like doing something to the perverts.
Right, exactly. Right. So and then she gets transformed into join the Rose the Hat's tribe. That was scary. So like that's a 10. Let's say, well, it's not a 10. It's an 8 out of 10, right?
8.5.
So this sat like somewhere at a 6, which is really good for a horror comedy musical. right?
Yeah, because horror comedy musicals are tall order.
And one of the things that's really interesting is that so there's a long tradition of American horror movies making everything that they need to make weird look really European because
it's
Americans
vampires,
are a bunch of assholes. So we give them a bunch of like Shakespeare frills and frilled collars and like weird shit like whatever. So they were full on Euro trash. All these like all the vampire like tribe was really really bizarre and weird, and it made them a little unsettling because it was just so random how they were like outfitted and
it was weird how they always showed that establishing shot of like his kind of mansion. It just looked like so like, hey, who on the crew has the biggest house? Whose mom has the biggest house? Okay, we're just gonna shoot the top part of it with the sun in the back or the moon in the background, and that's it.
That's exactly
we're just gonna
right.
put that shot in every
Yep.
time we use that interior.
That was pretty hilarious.
The camaraderie with the band and
Yeah.
Hugo, their like roadie,
Yep.
was really well done.
Yep.
And all the actors did a knockout job because like they all each had a very, very, very distinctive personality. The leader was like a really weak kind of leader. He thought he could rally the band together to big success. He was never gonna fucking do it. The bass player, like they were all talented. The bass player just kind of wanted to move on. The drummer, or was it the other guitarist? It was the other guitarist. He was just kind of like in La La Land, kind of like he'd go wherever he wants. And then the drummer, I forget what the fuck the drummer even did. He was like
He
the
was
third
just
one
there to
did that.
die.
He was just there to die.
Spinal Tap.
But
style.
you got a sense of like what they were all about, especially when they start like asking her about like becoming a vampire, because the bass player is the first one to go, and the way they tried hiding it with each other. Oh my god, that was probably one of my favorite things.
them hiding it from each other.
Yeah,
That was incredible.
them all getting jealous of like the success being only her. They're like, well, if we're all vampires, we'll get a lot of success. But they didn't want to tell the lead singer that they're turning into vampires, so they're sitting in the car miserable. I just thought that whole scene was just...
Oh, yeah, the way they all started to get turned and all of that, and the fact that Hugo kept like, "Why not me? Like,
Why not Hugo?
which was absolutely pretty spectacular. The lead actress did a great job of being. I'm thinking of the scene where they stop at the convenience store to stock up or whatever. She was pretty intense, right?
Yeah.
Like you could tell when she went on the prowl. It gave me like that old Howling feel that I appreciate. You know, where
Right.
got the atmosphere looks a little cheesy and the effects are going to be a little whatever, but it was still really cool to watch someone really commit to it 100%. I think that's the thing I loved about it, was that everyone was committed to it except for Dave Foley, who was clearly sleepwalking through the whole thing, and that's fine because that's his character. Like that's what the character was doing too.
He's a shitty manager.
He was a manager who just didn't give a shit.
He was like, you can think about Japanese pop, and he like answers the phone. He's like, can you do No, and also, what do you think of the Human Capri Sun?
Oh, that was glorious. That was absolutely glorious. And it was creepy how they filmed it, right?
Yeah.
Because they sped it up, and then all of a sudden she was on the side of him, like just draining the shit out of him, and he was like, he looked like he had no idea what was happening.
Then Hugo had to clean it up, and
Poor
her
Hugo.
using the glam on him to to make him to do it. I just think this whole movie, like, I'm really glad we're here talking about it, because like I remember the feeling I had when I watched it out cold, and it was like an underrated comedy, and I was like, I couldn't wait to have other people like, I got like, this is the first time I've had that feeling again of like, listen, I found like the true meaning of like an underrated gem of a movie.
Yep.
And it's this.
Yep. And it's got a good heart. Like it's definitely something where they know they're not making something super important, but they know they got right what they needed to get right to have it be a legitimate movie.
Right.
So it wasn't just like some like it wasn't The Room or like something.
There was
it was really competently done.
And there was a vision behind it. Like they wanted to have that rock and roll traveling band aesthetic, and they knocked it out of the park.
And can we talk about how the fact that everyone always jokes and talks about how Malcolm McDowell phones in his performances, and his performance in this one was really good. Like Dave Foley was phoning in his performance hard, and which is fine because that was, like I said, he was playing a disinterested manager played by a disinterested actor. It was perfect. But Malcolm McDowell really like. He seemed when he was hunting the vampires, he was playing sort of like the Roddy McDowell character from Fright Night, right?
Right.
So like when he was hunting the vampires, when he was getting thwarted, he seemed really frustrated that he couldn't catch them. He was afraid of the dark, so when they knocked the flashlight out of his hands, he seemed legitimately terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just every time he comes on the screen, it gets better. Like whatever movie he's in, he did the same thing for Rob Zombie's Halloween's. He shows up on the screen, movie gets better.
Also, what about them using the old footage of him from back in the day when
That
they were
was
showing
crazy.
I thought that was so smart.
That was pretty cool though.
I love that, and it added to like that fun B movie atmosphere where it was like, again, like they weren't taking themselves seriously, but they really had an idea and a vision for a story that like they thought would be fun to tell.
Yep, totally. And that's, it's funny because one of the things that you get a lot with horror comedies that seems really bizarre is and I'm going to say this, and I'm the only person in the world that thinks this. So I'm just going to cop to being weird. But a lot of horror comedies exhaust me because they're horror comedies like Cabin in the Woods, Shaun of the Dead,
right?
But they also open out onto an entire world where everything is at stake, whether it's Zombieland or Shaun of the Dead or whatever. Like the whole world's going to shit, and you've got I know you're not supposed to take it this seriously, but when you're watching it, it's like the whole world is in balance. It reminds me of Cabin in the Woods, which really agitated me when I first saw it because it's a really well-made movie. But then when they ended the whole world at the end of the horror comedy, I was like, what if they Men in Blacked it? So this one was small scale and just stayed small scale. There was there was no vampire outbreak. World. There was no they're going to get out of hand. We got to stop them or they're going to turn the president. There was no, they were just it was the thing I love about Tucker and Dale. We've got a small slice of society. We love the small slice of society. We're gonna Schitt's Creek it,
right?
Right. We're gonna live here. We're gonna stay here. We're not gonna widen it out to a bigger thing. We love these people and this situation they live in. We're gonna spend as much time with them there as possible without and I loved it for that.
I don't know why, but the first film when he did small scale, I was like, oh, you mean like Captain Phillips? Comparing those,
sort of,
those two,
sort of,
it's hilarious.
Speaking of bad horror pitches, I love that we're finishing Suck with. It's like What We Do in the Shadows meets Captain Phillips.
That's a great one. Oh my gosh, I would watch the shit out of that one.
But this is an eminently rewatchable movie. I guarantee you that when this thing comes back on Sci-Fi Network 3 months from now, I'm going to sit through all of it.
Dude, it is like I wish somewhere if Hollow Weekly could host midnight movie, not a midnight movie. No, I hate midnight movies. No, if we host a movie, it's gonna be at 6 o'clock. I want to watch Dateline when I get home. If Hollow Weekly hosted a 6 o'clock movie thing at one of the local theaters in LA, I would show Suck first because I would want to be in the audience watching that movie for the first time.
I love your plan because the demographic that they had in mind when they made this movie was people who wake up at 11:30 p.m. So I love that you're holding your Suck Film Festival at 5. Right, we're gonna have a nice fish fry and then go see this, and then be in bed by 9:30.
We're gonna go to the Golden Corral afterwards, and
it's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be a really good time.
It's gonna be awesome. Perfectly timed.
And then is there anything else we're missing? The movie was fun.
I highly recommend it. Go check it out because
ratings because it's how low can we go?
Yeah, and let's be honest. Even judging it from the 3 reviews it had on Amazon, this is 10 people have seen this movie, so go see it and let us know what you think.
Well, no, your rating.
We'll know we heard about it. We'll know you heard about it from us, but you didn't hear about it from anyone else. I think that there's no way this movie's not fresh, right? So I feel like this, if we're doing that kind of rating, I feel like this movie is like a 68%. That's,
that's fair.
Enjoyability factor, it's way higher, right? But
right.
But you gotta, there's something to say for in the ratings themselves. The execution of this movie is an 85%. But I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a flat 70 because there's some movies that just don't try to do a whole lot. Right? And you got to give people credit for trying to do a little bit more than what this movie.
They woke up every day and they shot that film.
Trying to do. But so execution 80, ambition 12.
Right. Acting 9.
Median score 70.
Okay, 70 makes sense. I would agree. I think 70 is the perfect spot. or something like suck.
Yes.
All right. Well, if you're the other person who saw this movie, give us a review on iTunes. We'd really appreciate
give us a review and then give them a review, and I think like we're gonna have the same amount of reviews.
And donate to Hugo's Indie GoFundMe.
At the end of the day.
All
but
right.
It's a thoroughly enjoyable movie. If you like late 90s, 2000s era music, you're already set.
Yeah, it's kind of got that vibe. It's a mood.
For sure.
It's a definite mood.
Yeah, definitely. So go check it out and let us know what you think.
Talk to you later. Watch a bunch of scary movies. Talk to you next time. Bye.